Islam, peace, and welcome to Nwar Astrology. Today is Thursday, December the 1st of 2022. We have quite a bit of energy today with today's daily astrological transits. We have a fixed T-square taking place between quite a few planets. So the Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Sagittarius, Neptune, the Moon, and Jupiter in Pisces, and Mars in Gemini. So what a T-square is when there are planets that are at opposition. And the energy of an opposition is the energy of fullness, like a full moon. It is also the energy of duality between two opposing aspects, and the dance and enhancement of the oneness through that duality. A square is when planets are at a 90-degree angle to each other, and it's the energy of active conflict and dealing with like the forces of law and nature and what is actually happening materially or energetically in a situation. So this T-square is made up of fire energy in Sagittarius, water energy in Pisces, and air energy in Gemini. The fire energy being our creative will, the water being our emotions, and the air being our mental and our thoughts. There's a lot to talk about here, so I'm kind of gonna just go through it a little bit piece by piece. Maybe talk about some of the planetary energies. Well, let's start off here. Let's start off with Pisces. So Pisces deals with the collective unconscious. Pisces deals with karma. It deals with our dreams, our visions. It can also deal with illusion. It can deal with getting overly intoxicated as well. And the moon dealing with our emotions, our physical and our emotional needs and drives, is right now in Pisces with Jupiter and with Neptune. So Jupiter and Neptune both rule Pisces. They're at domicile in Pisces. What that means is that they're at home. So this energy is really strong right now. The energy of the moon and Neptune in Pisces is definitely the energy of visions, right? Of meditating, the energy of projecting visions within your mind's eye. Dreamy, it's a very dreamy energy. And with Jupiter there as well, Jupiter is the benefactor of the zodiac, very jovial, abundant energy. Jupiter also deals with law as well, judgment in a way. It definitely can be an overwhelming dream, very, very caught in a euphoric haze kind of feeling. This energy is just in of itself alone. But in this T-square, that energy is impacted. So the way that a T-square works is that the planet that is in the middle of the two planets that are at opposition, so the planet that is at the right angle, the 90-degree angle to the planets that are at opposition with each other, is the leading ruling energy, because it's the energy that is being impacted upon the most. So these planets, the moon, Neptune, and Jupiter's energy are influencing all of these energies the most. So the square between Jupiter in Pisces and Mars in Gemini is a good aspect. This is creative thought, divine ideas, right? Coming to you. And with these divine ideas coming from Jupiter in Pisces, Mars in Gemini, Gemini deals with writing and graphs and knowledge and that sort of thing, communicative knowledge. Mars being our will. One good thing to do today is, as you're getting these ideas, because you might be getting an abundance of ideas with Jupiter, today is carry on a little notepad or a book and just, jot them down or type them in your notes in your phone and save it for later, because so much is going to come in, and there's also a lot of other energy happening today that we might not really be able to hold on to the inspiration when it comes. We're dealing a bit more with this energy of our inner drive, our inner will, and the combativeness between how we see ourselves within social structures, be it job, school, some sort of fraternity, sorority, be it a family, as well as how we deal with our inner child, and how we're bountiful in our will. The energies of this T-square with the moon sandwiched between Neptune and Jupiter, squaring off against the conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and the Sun in Sagittarius, can definitely have us wanting to escape, to wanting to get away and go on an adventure. The energy today almost has the energy of conflict between thoughts, dealing with, belief, time-old belief, and as well as like revolutionary sorts of beliefs. So this could even be something on the level of, religious or spiritual ideology. It could even be political, or just like general cultural beliefs and what's held within a community, as well as how one sees themselves, the new things that they're learning and discovering, and the new things that they want to be able to continue forth in their own life without the influence of other people, for sure. I mean, with the square happening between, the moon, Neptune, Jupiter, and Mars in Gemini, we can really be having a battle between what our dreams are. Gemini, most people think of Gemini as the twins, kind of dualistic, two-faced aspect, or two-personaed aspects of oneself. Geminis have the person they show the world, and then they have the inner self that they may show you if they're comfortable with you. But Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, which is an aspect of Hermes, who is an aspect of Thoth, dealing with thought. So Hermes is known as Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes is a three-faced god. He wears three masks. So in truth, Gemini actually has three sides. The one that's forward-facing, dealing with the social structures. The one that is our, kind of inner self that we let loose, maybe in private, or in closer connections with those that we're comfortable with. And then, Mars in Gemini, in the fifth house here, in this chart, is dealing with the inner child, with our soul. That's that third phase. It's this conflict right now might even not just be so much about what one is dealing with in combating with some sort of social group, but even with their own preconceived notions within themselves. There's something deeper down that needs to be revealed. There's another mask within that needs to come off. With Mars at opposition to Venus, this is the classic men are from Mars, women are from Venus energy, right? This is the dance of the lovers. This is a playful dance. This opposition could bring the energy of a playful dance, for sure, in love situations, or just in good social situations. But it really depends on whether or not we are secured and we have, trust in our inherent values, dealing with our own emotions and our own dreams and our own feelings of worth and what we're worth. what our abundance, where our abundance lies. If we are not dealing with insecurity, then this is a good day. If we are, this is a day that we're going to need to take some time to sit out for a little bit and, let that divine inspiration come to you. Write these graphs, write these charts, map out where you want your life to be, map out, draw your future self. And start taking the steps, start taking the steps. With the moon and Neptune in Pisces, all right, they're making this square to Venus and Mercury. It's dealing with our mind and with our values and our emotions and what we dream. There's another good aspect here. Saturn is at a trine to Mars in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius. Aquarius is a social house, and definitely in this chart here, it's in the first house, the house of Aries, dealing with the self. So, if we take the time to, work on that plan, build that thing, I think what we see coming out of it in the long run will be very beneficial for us, how we see ourselves, how we think, what we even think about, or whether or not it even matters what other people think. What we find at the end of the journey is going to be really, really important. Don't let the Jupiter, Moon, and Neptune energy and the influence of, the Sagittarian energy, don't let other people's energy or opinions influence you in such a way that you might be swept up in illusions, or an illusion can be cast upon you. So I'm going to go ahead and read the Sabian symbols for the planetary energies today. We have quite a few interesting ones. Start off with Jupiter at 29 of Pisces, light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism. This shows analyzing things, considering and drawing conclusions from available data, and being perceptive of colors, light refraction or reflection, auras, and light. You probably have the ability to break situations down in the simplest components in order to see the full picture. This can and often does lead to greater understanding of the relationship between the whole and of the many parts. Just be careful not to overanalyze, thereby losing the joy that is inherent in the simplicities of life. Taking a single vision and turning it into many individual streams can be rewarding, but it can also confuse and distract. In the positive, this deals with spectrum analysis, color and crystal healing, rainbows, light refraction, considering many facets of a situation, the optics, sight, telescopes, microscopes, auras, and copying ideas. That's not really a positive one there. But there, they say, what is it? Imitation is the best form of flattery, right? So I don't know if that's necessarily true. In some ways it is. We are inspired by the things we see. We're constantly feeding images into our mind. We're constantly hearing different auditory forms coming into our ears, whether it's the sound of the trees, whistling in the wind in nature, or a jackhammer like I've just been hearing from some construction outside, or some music, the fragrance, anything, all these things, all of our senses take in information at all times. And so it's okay to be inspired by what you see, but you want to definitely use that Jupiterian, Luna, Neptune energy, and let the inspiration come to you. Use your will, Mars and Gemini, and then create for yourself, right? This is the opposition between Mars and Venus. It's the creativity, the man and the female, and the dance between the two and what can be birthed. It's about that energy. It's not about taking something else and making an artificial version of it, because that's when we're at conflict. This fixed energy of a fixed T-square is an inability to change. It's an inability to tap into the air energy, that's the divine wisdom, to feel the water energy, which is the emotion and that inner magic, which is the fire, the will within you, the inability to make any sort of shift because of all of these energies coming together and affecting your emotions. So you don't want to get stuck in that fixed energy. A good thing about what fixed signs can do is to be constantly working towards something, right? To kind of have their eye on the prize, like that mountain goat, that slowly makes its way up the mountain, or like Taurus, the bull, very bullheaded and slow moving in one direction. And with, Saturn making its way, just Saturn at this trying to Mars and Gemini, Saturn being Aquarius, two air signs, definitely want to let these thoughts, let these thoughts ruminate. Let these thoughts come in and write them down. Write whatever, you're going through. Just write it down. Don't worry so much about being at active conflict with others and having kind of discussions and things about that, because right now is a time for us all individually to be discovering. Okay, sorry. And the negative, it means to be locked into a set of parameters, overanalyzing things, being blinded by ambition, diffracted personalities, mirages, using instruments, yet not seeing things as they are. So that was Jupiter, giver of gifts and luck. The moon is, next we have Mars at 19 of Gemini. In a museum, a large archaic volume reveals a traditional wisdom. This symbol speaks of knowledge and wisdom coming from those who went before. In a progressive world, we look often for new ideas and new solutions, and traditional wisdom is nowadays often ignored. Many old traditions may no longer be relevant to the present, but traditional wisdom is something we can often benefit from. You may be experiencing intuitive wisdom outside of your own experience and potential. This wisdom is inherent in us and in us all, and needs merely to be tapped into to be understood. Learn the best from the past. Learn from the best of the past. The truths held there are worthy and valuable to you in the now. And the positive, this deals with reading, studying, and learning collective knowledge and wisdom from ancient sources, enormous potential to be tapped, Akashic records, astrology, oracles, and old books. And the negative, not understanding wise messages or advice, or being caught up in accepting only what tradition can dictate. Old and outdated laws, going strictly by the book. Next up, we have Venus at 19 of Sagittarius. Pelicans disturbed. Venus is our value and our inherent value, and what we value, what we put our energy and time into in the world, our self-worth, security. Pelicans disturbed by the garbage of people. They move their young to a new habitat. The symbol shows being on the alert for intrusion and danger in your life and the lives of those you care for, and the lives of those in your care, whether they are your own children or the children of youngsters or others. At times in your life, you may feel that conditions are changing and you or your family or friends don't feel safe. You may need to move into a new situation which will provide more nourishment, safety, and security, and less danger. This can refer to an inner withdrawal, not wanting to watch the news, listen to bad information, thoughts, and can happen on any level: physical, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. This concerns with survival, and I guess this is the positive, the endeavor to achieve mental, physical, or emotional well-being or peace, safety and security concerns, problems, can deal with problems with rent or mortgage, not a good one, and retreats. So more negative ones are not prepared to compromise or cohabitate, living in mess and rubbish, people not being able to live together, insecure and unpredictable conditions, noisy neighbors. So maybe there could be someone out there dealing with some living situation, thinking about where to move, where's your value, where are you going to live, what is going to be the most beneficial place for you coming up. Next up, we have Pisces, the moon, our emotional and physical needs. At 23 of Pisces, A materializing medium giving a seance. This shows the ability or the need to pick up subtle energies and psychic clues in the environment. A materializing medium can receive radiations, frequencies, or vibrations that cannot easily be sensed by most people. You may be experiencing a surprisingly sensitivity and awareness to spiritual forces and energy. This can cause confusions, other times enlightenment. Sit with any new impressions until you understand their authenticity and depth, or their depth. Sometimes there is a need to free stuck or earthbound entities. This can show one who can materialize things, make things happen just by thinking about or concentrating on them. Spiritual channeling in the positive, seeing things ahead of time, giving voice to spirit messages from the other side, tarot readings, clairvoyance, clairsentience, and manifesting. In the negative, false fronts or performances, making things up, using mind control to get a desired outcome, weird energies or people, quacks, imposters, fakes, and delusional people. 22 Pisces, dealing with our moon, Jupiter, Neptune. Let those intuitive energies and those insights from the divine come to you today, because they will be coming. And perhaps inspiration, that aspect of not copying, but rather imitation is the best form of flattery, going and looking back at some old ancient texts, and maybe, boom, something will come to you afterwards. Next up, we have Sagittarius, this is the position the sun is at. The sun being our soul, our inner light, our purpose in life. A mother leads her small child step by step up the stairs. This symbol shows being able to lend a hand to those who need it, whether they are youngsters or not. It pictures situations where someone needs to assist those less able, experienced, or indeed less evolved, to overcome difficulties and to rise up or learn to cope, learn or understand. You may find yourself as either the experienced or the inexperienced, or possibly finding the mother within you guiding your own inner child. It can also show someone caring for elderly relatives or friends. Whatever it is, one needs to have a sense of patience. Caring and understanding, lending a guiding hand to others is very important. In the positive, this deals with the inner child, training, careful consideration of others' failings, helping others to help themselves, stewardship, supervising parents, negatively dealing with handicaps, Alzheimer's, and slow progress, future visions and hopes being obscured, being exhausted by parental obligations, not getting it or giving the help that one needs, wanting to be looked after, or lack of supervision. So how's our inner child feeling today? Are we listening to the advice from either a real parental or inner parental or divine parental energy in our life? Are we feeling protected? Are we feeling guided? Are we feeling burdened? Are we feeling unsure? Next up, we have Sagittarius at 22 degrees, dealing with Mercury, which deals with our thought. It deals with our communication. Definitely also dealing with social energy in the closer social, familial, early life, close to home, neighborhood, local traditions, local transportation energy. Sagittarius, 22 degrees, a Chinese laundry. The symbol pictures situations where people may not be taken seriously, are expected to perform in a stereotypical way, or are shut away because of their culture or language, or because of racial prejudice. In a Chinese laundry, people are often working very hard with little free time and expected to do the dirty work for others for very little in return. Be careful not to shut yourself away, as there can be the danger of closing your mind to other options, opportunities, and possibilities. This can also picture situations where people are working closely together, speaking the same language. Although, here too, there can still be alienation and loneliness, restrictions of all the positive, this deals with restrictions of all kinds, laws and legislations based on social and racial equality, issues of belonging, doing jobs because they should be done, efficient work practices. In the negative, this deals with giving into prejudice, self-inflicted inferiority being used, issues of self-respect, confining stereotypes, money laundering, being not taken seriously, and feeling trapped. Very interesting. and that's Mercury, communication, local neighborhood. So those are all of the Sabian symbols for the energies today. This is interesting. Take from that what you will. Mix all those energies together if you can kind of map out the story and see how this is speaking to you in your life. Definitely, today is a day that we want to be looking within and being open to being a divine channel, because it's definitely going to help us on our journey and seeing where we are going and the next steps that we should take. Try not to get too caught up in that Mars and Gemini energy and push forward too fast, because again, Saturn is at a trine to Mars, and this conflicting T-square energy can have us wanting to just burst out and escape. So sit with it, and something very beneficial will come to you. All right. Hope that helps. Peace.